Hello everyone, this is Jimmy, and welcome to episode 26 of Nuclear Earth Reirradiated. At the end of last episode, I noticed that it was taking us a little bit too long to actually make singularities, so I added a second compactor. Additionally, the iron compactor is still not done making iron singularities, because we literally have run out of iron. So, naturally, if we're out of iron, we can't make iron singularities. I'm actually going to turn it off for now so that we don't use all of our iron. I might need some iron to, actually play the game today. But I set up another one doing redstone. It's the exact same setup, but it's done now. So we should see that we have 121 redstone singularities. Good. So I'll move it on to the next thing. Probably lapis seems reasonable. And I guess we have to switch you to lapis singularity. But yeah, there's 10-ish? No, a bit over 10. So if we can do, it takes about 6 hours of constant running to make 121 singularities. It depends a little bit on how many let me open recipes, how many items it takes. So like the higher the number, naturally the longer it takes. But yeah, about 6 hours to make 121. I might have to break and replace this block to purge it. We void all the internal buffer, but who cares. But with two of them running, I just have to run through the cycle, 6-ish times. Hopefully that'll be that this can just take care of our singularities with minimal involvement. I also set up the last of the void miners. If you look carefully, you'll notice that it's one block closer. Like there's 3 blocks between them here. There's only 2 blocks here. That was unintentional, but now it's staying that way because I know it annoys you more than it annoys me. Currently, I also have a white lens on there for iridium. At least I'm pretty sure iridium or white. Yep. Because I think this is, well, it was our lowest count thing. Diamonds have, no, we still have more diamonds than iridium. So, yeah, 814,000 iridium out of 3.3 million needed to make its singularities. Tier 5 will come at some point, and that'll speed this along. Tier 5 is literally 4 times faster than Tier 4. Or, sorry, Tier 6 is 4 times faster than Tier 5. Anyways, let's get back to Thaumcrafty things. So, we left off last time having just built the altar. Now, let's automate it. To automate the placement of items onto the pedestals, I'm going to use Actual Edition's lasers. And I don't actually know what side I want to put them. Maybe the tops? The problem with putting the lasers on top is we can't actually see the item on it, but there's no other side. I mean, I guess there's a bottom, but yeah, we'll put the lasers on top for now and see how bad it looks. The fact that lasers reveal all connected inventories as a single inventory means that we get to do something very similar to what we did with the Infusion, or not the Infusion altar, this altar, Empower. I guess it's not an altar at all. But we get to do something pretty similar to the Empower, where we can pipe items from an ME interface directly into the laser interface, and as long as the ME interface here is on blocking mode, it won't send any items until every item is off the pedestal. So until the previous infusion is done, all leftover items are cleaned up like buckets, and the leftover finished crafting ingredient is also done. So I think this makes for a pretty elegant solution. As I mentioned before, the altar here, the runic matrix, is very sensitive to symmetrical effects. So we want to make sure that the items that are placed into the pedestals are placed as symmetrically as possible. It doesn't care about what item is there. Like if you have 2 of the same item, they don't have to be symmetrical to each other. But the overall, basically the true false, whether it has an item or not, does have to be symmetrical. So to do that, I'm going to set it up such that the first item to get pushed into the item interface will always be the center item. Therefore, that item will have priority, or will go into the highest priority, which I think I have set as 0 in the set, right? Or -1, I guess. So priority -1 is the highest. I don't know why I did everything in negative. But anyways, then the next item, -2, will go here. -3 will go across from it. Then to maintain the symmetry, -4. And 5, and so on and so forth, right? -6 and -7, and you get the point from there. So every pedestal has a matching one across from it, and those are in consecutive pairs. So as much as possible, this altar will try to balance out items for us. Now, if you give it a recipe that has an odd number of items on the sides, obviously it's mathematically impossible to be perfectly balanced, but that's why we have spare stability. As for taking items off of the altar when we're done, there are generally two types of items left on the altar at the end of a craft. There's the output from the craft. So for that, I just have it on another laser network, and this is one of the filters we need to use in this, is just you filter what outputs you extract. Now this gets a little bit more complicated because some items are both inputs and outputs. So if we look at Mythman, or let's start with the basic tier one. Hold on, what is this song? This isn't the standard Minecraft music, is it? It's like the same song, but it's like remixed. Am I crazy? All right, anyways, this ingot here, it's crafted on the altars, right? So it, we have to filter it to extract out of the middle when the craft is done. But the same ingot also needs to stay in the center in order to craft adamantine. This thing, what I'm going to call adamantine. So in order to support that, we're going to have some logic to see, are we crafting this item right now? If so, we're allowed to withdraw it. If not, we're not. We'll get back to that in a bit, because that's it involves level emitters and jazz. So anyways, items that simply can just be whitelisted will be added to this whitelist. The other item we have to clean up are leftovers on the side pedestals. So every now and then when you do a craft, it leaves something behind. Like if you use a bucket of something, it'll almost always leave the bucket behind. If you use the Primordial Pearl, it'll leave behind a damaged Primordial Pearl. So normally I don't really care to automate this recipe. Like anything that uses the Primordial Pearl, normally I just accept that, all right, we'll clean up the Primordial Pearl by hand afterwards. However, the fact that it's used to make adamantine is, I think that's enough reason that I want to automate cleaning it up. So what I'm going to do is, these pearls are very easy to make. Like, it's a void seed. I mean, I guess it's 1.2 billion is nothing. But yeah, it's a void seed and a block of nether stars. Great. We can make primordial pearls for days. So I will treat them as 1 durability items, even though they technically have 10 durability. Does this tell us that? No, I guess they have 8 durability. But I will treat them as 1 durability items. So then what we'll do is we'll only use a full durability variant in the input, and then we'll withdraw the 7 durability variant as a cleanup item. And then what we can do is set up a repairer of some sort to repair our 7 durability one back into 8 durability so that we can reuse it. But that's my plan. So for that, I'm going to need a 7 durability one so I can add it to this filter, but I've already got buckets there. And this is just connected to all the lasers, right? So I can withdraw that. So this is on blocking mode. All right. For now, I'm going to manually start our recipes by just hitting it with the caster gauntlet, but I'm willing to look into different ways of like teaching users with Tome of Knowledge sharing stuff to try to automate that step a little bit later. So for now, let's try to make the first of these ingots. Is Mythmanite the first one? No. This one is the first one. All right. So let me go ahead and drop this recipe into Applied Energistics. We might have to melt down some more stuff, but I want to make a whole bunch of this ingot. I don't know the exact order that Applied Energistics gives you your items in when you craft, but I know for a fact that the top left item comes first. I suspect it's like left to right, top to bottom, but this item has to always be the item that goes into the middle here. So let's add that to our crafter here, and I guess immediately, whoopsies, that's not the right slot for you. You go in the pattern slot. Immediately, we already run into the case where that item is both a center item and a later, like it's both crafted in the altar and it later goes into the altar in the center, which means that we have to do our fancy logic immediately. All right, so for this, what I'm going to do is grab another laser interface, put that here, hook this to the output side. So this is just another extraction point, effectively. And then we will set this up to extract on blue with a signal only, filter it for that mithralium ingot. I'm sure I'm slaughtering that pronunciation, but for some reason Ender IO conduits or Ender IO filters cannot mithrilium. Cannot take ghost items from bookmarks, but whatever. Filter that, and then we will use a level emitter. And this level emitter will be configured to, with the crafting card, to emit redstone while the mithrilium ingot is crafting, which means that only while this ingot is crafting will we be trying to extract it from the center. Otherwise, while we're doing the crafting of the mithrilium, whatever, ingot, it will happily sit there. Oh, that's an adamantite ingot. Oh. Well, it turns out we didn't have to do this at all, because these are configured to only extract off the sides. All right, Jimmy, you're crazy. It might be possible that we have to use this setup for something else later, but apparently not these ingots. Okay. This ingot is... Oh, wait, no, it goes in the center to make adamantite. I am not crazy. All right, nope, the thing I destroyed, you're going back there. Moment of truth. Let's try it out. Give me 10 of these. Yeah, do the thing. So, we see items get placed out here. Oh boy, did I not set you on blocking mode? That's not the blocking mode button. All right, clean everything up, try it again. Thankfully, easy way to clean up. Just take the filter out, and then the lasers will clean up for me. I'll pull everything out, one by one. Neat. Let's try that again. This time, actually on blocking mode, not on hide on interface terminal mode. Same items. All right, so the items get placed here. They get placed in a relatively, as symmetrical as it gets pattern. And then we have to start by doing that. All right, the fact that it started is good. And then as long as it's pulling stuff in, it should stay stable. So, yeah, it's drawing in resources. Now, I want to speed this up a little bit too. So there are ritual stones, I believe that's what they're called. Clearly not. Infusion stones? Yeah, there we go. One to make it faster, one to make it cheaper. So the cheaper stone causes it to use less essentia, but take longer. The speed stone is the other way around. It makes it use more essentia, but pulls it in faster. So I'm going to make, oh boy, 500 per. I'm going to make 4 of these. You can use up to 4 total. They go underneath your 4 pillars and improve the, improve the altar. So once this craft is done, I'll swap in, I guess we're going to do it now. I can craft this separately. The final item does appear to be automatically picked up as well, because as we can see, the crafting task is active, so the level emitter is on. If this crafting task is not active, like if I were to cancel it, that would turn off, but obviously I don't want to do that yet. All right, let's drop these in. I don't know exactly how big an effect they have. I seem to recall from when I used them before, it was unimpressive. Like, the speed up is small, the extra vis cost is trivial, but a trivial cost for a small speed up is a win, I suppose. And all right, how much faster do you go? So yeah, as you see, that now it uses like 31 metal up instead of 30. Oh no, whatever shall I do? But it does seem to be pulling it in faster. I don't have a qualitative measure of how much faster. But anyways, now that we have it gone this far, we may as well automate the clicking of the runic matrix with Caster's Gauntlet to start the craft. Now, I'm pretty sure if I were to click it again, it cancels the craft. In fact, I'm going to try that on the next one early on before it started consuming items. So one click to start. No, we can actually keep clicking it. Okay, good. So we don't have to be worried about accidentally re-clicking it, canceling the craft. That's good. In order to start an infusion, the player starting it, the player clicking the matrix, needs to have the relevant Thaumcraft knowledge. So I'm hoping that the auto clicker here, this one needs power. Is there a different one that doesn't need power? I mean, I could give it power. I just want to test real quick if it can gain the knowledge by using a tome of knowledge sharing. So if I take this and bind it, oopsies, right click, bind it to myself, and now it has my research in it, and I think it's right click to acquire. All right, so right click, no sneak. Yep, the fact that it spat out items, I think means that it works. These are the item rewards, whatever, from the research. Now, I'm gonna keep those because they're basically valueless. So, Now, this auto clicker has the appropriate knowledge, which means if we give it a caster's gauntlet now, it should be able to click and activate the ritual. I don't know if I move it, whether it becomes a new user or not. I guess we could try and find out easy enough. Are you going to spit out items? Nope, it has the same fake user backing it. So, it might recreate the fake user on server restart, but I think what we should be able to do is plop you, that's going to be anywhere adjacent to it, rotate it, give it a caster's gauntlet, set it to even like once a second. Oh, apparently it doesn't need power. The power is a lie. All right, well, there we go. It automatically started up the craft. What I can't, does this thing even respond to redstone? It makes a sound, which is a little annoying. Does that turn it off? That does appear to. Okay. I can just set it such that it only clicks on, like, rising edge of the pedestal. Or maybe we'll just make it so it only clicks while the pedestal has items. Just in case the first click doesn't activate the thing for whatever reason. Huh, that's weird. I swear comparators used to read whether or not pedestals had items in them. Is that not literally what I did in Celestial Journey to detect if my pedestals had items? But apparently this no longer does so. I guess we could use storage bus subnet to read that. This is just a tiny little subnet here. A storage bus on the arcane pedestal reads the items on it, and then a level emitter without any items configured just will compare against the total number of items in the network. This is a feature I recently found out about. Never imagined myself using it, but here we go. I guess it's useful on very small subnets. So I just care whether or not there is an item effectively. And that means if there is an item, emit when levels are above or equal to 1, so it turns on. I guess I could have done it the other way around. Instead of having to use a NOT gate. Yeah, let's do that. We can move that back. No. There we go. So emit when levels are below 1. So when there's no items on here, excuse me, snowman. When there's no items on here, the auto clicker gets turned off and it doesn't try to start the craft. And then it looks like our 10 mythmen, whatever, have been completed. So that extract is off and the ingots are done. All right, the next tier is to upgrade this to... Wait, I keep getting my tiers confused. What is the highest tier? It has to be Mythmidnight then. Not Mithra. These names are so confusing. My brain cannot handle it. Alright, so it looks like the next one is Adminite. The first 3 aspects here are pretty easy. These are, and some of these later ones are pretty easy. However, there's a couple aspects here that are new, and I believe they're from the additions mod specifically. So Infernium looks like it doesn't have many sources. Nether brick, that's an easy enough source. Draco, okay, good. This has a lot of sources. Dragon eggs, probably where we're gonna have to get it from. Dragon heads, yeah. Okay, let's go for dragon eggs. And lastly, Visum is in carrots. What is it? Vision. Makes sense. I need a couple things in order to farm dragons efficiently. First of all, I need a ghast farm. So I hope this spawner works. The spawns at the end or the nether still appear to be broken, but hopefully if I can get a ghast from here, we can make a woot farm for that. The woot dragon farm requires end crystals, so each one is a ghast tier and an eye vendor. At this point, I've banked 657,000 wither skeleton. Oh, wither skeletons don't have looting. Oh no, I do have looting. Just have decapitate as well. Okay, yeah, we'll swap the wither skeleton farm over to the ghast one. And I don't think ghast drop any non-stackables, so everything they drop should be good to go into here. And give me ghast tiers. What is the chance? 50% chance per. There's 6 of them. Come on, give me ghast tiers. There we go. That makes ghast tiers. We're then going to have to revive ourselves 1 dragon. I thought there's a giant gaping hole here from when I had the digital miner do its thing. So let's revive the dragon. And then kill it. but make sure we bind ourselves a ender shard for it. Find it kind of weird that the digital miner just like left swaths of stone behind. I wonder why. Can Endermen pick up endstone? They can, right? Or maybe not. None of them have it. I was thinking maybe they were placed there by Endermen after the fact. I don't know. Anyways, get hit. Alright, and then I wonder if I can kill it through its heel. Probably. This is a very good bow. Who needs to kill the crystals? We also probably don't need more nether or wither nether stars, whatever you call these things. Only have 13,000 of them, but 13,000 is plenty. So we'll swap. Oh, it's dragon. Swap dragon into here. What does this have? Rate and mass. I guess rate and mass is enough. Probably don't need looting on it. I mean, the heart's a guaranteed drop, right? Yeah, heart's a guarantee. Oh, dragon's breath is a guaranteed drop too. So in order for this to actually summon mobs, we need to give it 4 end crystals per mob. And for that, I think I already have a storage bus or an interface set up here to give it the end crystals, but I have to actually craft them. I could put the end crystals on a crafting card, but that could cause it to generate crafting trees that fail to generate because I'm out of gas tiers or something. So I'm just gonna like craft 400 of them. That makes 100 dragon eggs, and if it turns out I need more, I can just batch craft more dragon eggs or more end crystals at any time. Basically, for every 4 end crystals I craft, right, a minute later or so, it'll turn them into dragon eggs. Rate and mass. Yeah, it's a little slow, but I mean, I guess it is killing dragons. I'll deal with that. Each egg also gives like 100 points of Draco. Also looks like my jars are all in use, almost all in use, so we're going to need more. At this point, I think I'm just going to make a whole bunch of basic jars as opposed to trying to be, you know, cheeky and use more expensive jars, because it's easier to make like 8 basic jars than 1 of the higher tier one. So while I was trying to place these jars, I accidentally shift right clicked a few of them, and shift right clicking the jar empties its contents as flux into the chunk. Yeah, there's a lot of flux in this chunk. I have to keep an eye on it. I expect it'll try to turn the flux into like the flux monsters, but they'll fail to spawn up there. But it's entirely possible that with this much flux in the chunk, something bad can happen. The purple on the bar, by the way, is flux. There's 302 points of it. Yeah, that's bad. It even bleeds into adjacent chunks. So like this one has 150. It'll gradually spread out across all the chunks and then like dissipate into, I don't want to say harmless levels, but like not harmful levels. I mean, I suppose that makes it harmless, right? It looks like a basic jar holds 250 versus the void jar holds 500. Like you go up 3 tiers to double it? Come on. Just gonna stick to basics. The very, very high tier jars are significantly better, but even then they're like, you know, 4,000 for like 4,000 vis, or 4,000 essentia, but it's easier to make 8 basic jars, or however many, 16 basic jars than one of the 4,000 jars. Screw it. Basic jars it is in a huge blob. The next thing we need in order to make this ingot is to actually make the primordial pearls. So I mentioned that this is a trivial recipe because I have an infinite supply of nether stars. However, the void seed is actually the hard part of it. Void seeds don't have a crafting recipe. To make these, you have to, well, the easiest way is to use a causality collapser on a void rift. So this it doesn't look too bad. Let's drop the recipe in. It's an infusion, so we can just have the infusion thingy automatically do it for us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. So that's all 8 of those. I didn't rename the interface. Oops. All right, so we should be able to order some of these. Let's go with 10. Nope. Try that again. I added a couple recipes, craft some of the morphic resonators and elementum. So fire. And they're everywhere. Run, spiders. I have to add the final product to our filter here. These are fake spiders. They can't hurt you. They can keep me from clicking the things I want to click, though. So this we could just always extract, because this item, all right, spiders, could you not? This item, hey, there's one with a hat. Actually, give me the hat. So they're not completely fake. Anyways, this item never gets used in like another thing, so we can just always try to extract it. And then when it's done crafting, oh, I should make sure that we actually have the aspects for it. So you see that it's not pulling the whatever the vidium aspect in right now. Probably that's on account of me not having any vidium in our in our jars right now. Anyway, these spiders are really annoying. I guess mission accomplished, spiders. You bothered me. But anyways, yeah, I get vidium crystals from the void miners. So, woohoo! Problem solved. 3 of these has finished. That's enough to get started. So I'm going to go a ways out of our base. I want to be far enough away that the negative effects of what I'm about to do don't impact me. This should do. Flux. That's what we'll call it. So, way out here, we need to set up a crucible. And I'm going to heat it with niter. Did I bring water with me? Wow, we're still in wireless range. Excellent. Is this a chunk? Yeah. I guess it has to be in a chunk. It's not possible for it to not be in a chunk. Fill it with water, and then throw stuff into it. No? Is it not heated? I guess it needed time to boil. Alright. Then throw stuff into it. So if we look now, our crucible is horrifically over full. Let's also grab a goggles, or not revealing, goggles of thermometer. This thing. So right now there's like 50-ish flux in the chunk. It's going up slowly as the crucible releases its overflow. Yeah, well, now there's I can't read that number. There's thousands of flux in the chunk, and immediately a rift opens. So this rift, when it closes, it won't close by itself if we leave it long enough. It'll spawn a little void tentacle thingy that'll gradually turn its surroundings into useless purple blocks. This is why I don't want these spawning in our base. But if I throw a causality collapser at it, that'll cause it to close almost immediately. And when that happens, I gain temporary warp and it drops void seeds. It also has a chance to just straight up drop a crystal thingamajig, or the Primordial Pearl, but the Primordial Pearl drop chance is pretty low. So I think it's about 1 in 8 when you have these ginormous rifts. But since these void seeds are very easily crafted into Primordial Pearls, you know, this works for me. So anyways, let's close these up. Causality, more of these are finishing up. So I'm gonna grab myself a healthy number of void seeds. Oh boy, that is huge. That is one thick noodle. I'm on my last one, and I still haven't actually gotten a causality collapse or a Primordial Pearl. So I'm very, very thankful that there is a crafting recipe for them. I guess a couple more we're crafting still, but yeah, their drop rate's not great, and having to play this RNG game to get, like, if you only have to use one ever, it's not the worst. But in some packs where you need, like this one, where you're gonna need a lot of Primordial Pearls, playing the Primordial Pearl RNG game really sucks. So give me a pearl, just for funsies. No can do. Oh well. Anyways, don't leave the chunk loaded so that it doesn't spread its purpleness everywhere. If you unload it, it basically just sits there harmlessly. Looks like you can only craft this nether star block, and there's a recipe to turn it from one to the other, but it also conflicts with the recipe to uncompress. So I think if I use a regular work table, I can use that button. That it did the right thing one time. All right, maybe if this is awfully annoying. Looks like the Ender Isle Crafter lets me actually pick which output I take, and it'll hopefully actually stay latched on that output. Why you lied to me like this? The 2 blocks have different, like, they don't even have matching or dictionary names. So I can't even use like an or dictionary converter. You know what? We're just going to do this, because switching them over one at a time is way too annoying. Alright, so anyways, now that we have the right nether star block, we should use it to upgrade our primordial pearls. This does use a lot of energy. I might actually need faster energy transport into our fusion replicator. So, you go here, you go there in place of that. Do your thing. Alright, how long does this take? Yep. Oh, is it capable of doing it at all? It needs 1.6 billion starting energy. And this thing only has a 400 million internal buffer. This might not be possible. I'm curious if we make a larger fusion computer. No, because that doesn't change the size of the internal buffer, does it? This is 1.6 billion, and we definitely... I'm going to test in a creative world to see if a larger fusion computer has a larger internal buffer. Turns out that is what the issue is. So at size... I think 8, it's 1.4 billion. Size 9 is 2.1 billion, and that's enough. So I need 24 cores. This is a size where it lies about the number, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, this is 24. Why is it the same number of coils for... Wait, 9. Yeah, there's some weird lying going on here. I remember I've been bamboozled by this before. Is this really 9? Or is that 9? I'm just going to make a lot of coils. Looks like it wasn't lying about that actually being a size 9 one. It has a multiplier on energy production, but we're not producing energy. This, thankfully, is not a multiplier on energy consumption. Although, given Techreborn, I suspect that that was not an intentional decision. They probably tried to make it so and messed it up. But anyways, we have to pump a lot of power into it. And because we can't actually connect universal cables to it, I also made myself one segment of superconductor cables. So hopefully we can effectively convert the entire internal buffer of this universal cable into EU per tick to insert. And I forget, well, I guess it still takes RF in, but it takes input on the sides. All right, so like so, that should fill it. Oh, come on, it only accepts, it only accepts 1 billion RF a tick. Is that per side? Let's get a few more superconductors then. Well, how much energy does this actually use? Yeah. If it's 1 per side, I need... Let's make a bunch of these. They're not cheap, but they're not expensive either. I'm using this recipe because now this one... Let me mock this one a little bit, by the way. This lets you, like, make superconductors cheaper, right? And it's basically... You get 8 times as much yield for some efficiency $5. What a great deal. This requires a size... hold on. This requires a size 50 reactor. Let me show you how many coils that is, by the way. A size 50 reactor. You have to commit 49 stacks of coils to a size 50 reactor. It's this big, and the only benefit you get out of it is slightly cheaper superconductors. Pass. In other weirdness, apparently a size 8 and a size 9 reactor are literally the same. Yeah, we'll take the size 9 then. Well, it's fully charged now, so let's drop our inputs in and get going. The fact that the charge is going down despite being plugged in... Oh, I guess I can only dump the certain amount of RF per tick into it anyways from like 100... No, but this is 120 million a tick. I can dump... Ow! Hey, I didn't die! Oh, because of Last Stand. Thanks, Last Stand! You'd think I'd learn my lesson after the first time I've done that. Does it... It doesn't progress backwards when uncharged, right? 2 mil... So I guess I'm pumping 2 million RF a tick into it. I don't know what the bottleneck here is, honestly. If I do that, does that make it faster, slower, unchanged? Unchanged. So I guess 2 million RF a tick is the most I can pump into it for whatever reason. You aren't draining, are you? You know, there's plenty of energy stored in there. Whatever, I won't sweat this small stuff. At this point, we just have to sit here, let this craft, it'll take its sweet time, because it's like 8,000 ticks per. But But I think now's a halfway decent wrapping up point for today anyway. So I'm going to leave this here to craft. We'll also leave this Singularity maker going. So how many lapis singularities are we at? 26. We made 26 during the episode. I'm going to add iron back to this one. Made 52,000 iron ingots during the episode as well. But we're going to convert all those into blocks, and then, yeah, it'll take it another, you know, couple hours for this one to finish. This one probably won't finish anytime soon because we just don't have enough iron. But so what? We'll come back next time and continue our Thaumcraft journeys, making the higher tier metals. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.